drivers, it is a beautiful evening here in Germany at the Nordschleife. I am in the C7 period. I'm not in the C7R. I am in the one that you buy from your local Chevy dealer. This is going to be interesting. I have been practicing a bit with it, which means I've been crashing with it. And we are going to try to make a clean lap here. In other words, I am going to try to drive not as hard as I did when I was crashing it, but by crashing it, I've learned what I can't do. So I'm going to try to do what I can do here. We're fighting the sun. We're fighting the shadows. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful evening. And we're going to have fun with this American muscle car. All right, it's not a muscle car. Let's call it a sports performance car. If we were in a Camaro, we could call it a muscle car. But we're still going to have fun. We're going to listen to the V8. We're going to slide around quite a bit, trying to get this lap done. Now, this is a factory showroom car. This is not designed for racing, despite what they might tell you when you're going to buy one, or when your uncle or grandfather is. I kid. I'm of the opinion that the Corvette C7 is the sports performance mild exotic car for every man, which means it's for people who want the feeling and the lifestyle, but they don't want to spend $1 million on a Lotus Exos 125 and have a true racing experience. Now, that said, we're going to squeeze as much as we can out of this car, and I am going 135 miles per hour right now up closer to 150. So this is a fast car. All right, here we go. Got to be careful here. We're going to have some understeer going in. We might have some oversteer coming out. Down to 70. Now we're going to power out of the corner. So as much as I kid and I make fun of the C7 and the C6 and the C5 or whatever, you could actually squeeze a lot of performance out of this car. You just have to be careful and respect the fact that I almost flew around that corner, literally. This is also for taking to the supermarket and, not breaking your back and being able to drive all day from New York to LA. So there's going to be compromises when it comes to handling, but it's got plenty of motor and it's got plenty of ways to help keep us on the track. We just have to understand we're not driving an open wheel car or a GT3 car or anything like that. So I am somewhat painfully slow through this section here as I'm trying not to spin it or at least run it into the grass. I try not to hit the curbs. If you hit the curb in a car like this with the softer suspension, you might be okay and you might continue on down the road. Being careful there, you can definitely power through that chicane faster. But I'm just trying to get a clean lap. Trying to get a clean lap here. So let's say I'm going about 7/8 of what I would do in this car when I might expect to crash at some point. Here I'm trying to get all the way through. I'm not learning the corners. I'm trying to apply what I've learned in these corners so that I can get through unscathed. We're going to go way down here. We're still, I thought I wouldn't even necessarily slide at all here. Careful here, we get a little light, but I just slowed it down. Back on the gas, and you can see that speedometer. We're back up through the gears very quick. We're back up over 100 miles an hour. You can't do that in a lot of passenger cars that you can go down to the dealership and buy. So there's definitely some power here, definitely some performance, but not the handling that you would want for racing. But we're hot lapping in what we've got, and what we brought was the C7. So here we go. Here's the power. We're full on it. We're off it. We're back on it. And I don't know how fast I can go through these high-speed corners coming up. So we're going to, I could go full there. Can't here, probably not in this car. We'd slide off to the right there. Back on it, though. Could have downshifted. Just feeling the power. And we're feeling the grass. That wasn't the car. That was me just being lazy there and just letting it go out to the left-hand side. Up to the banking. We'll drop it in the banking. Slowly, gingerly. Maybe we should have just gone around the outside, but we're doing all right. C7's doing the job here. Loves on this track to be up near and over 100 miles an hour. We're not going to go 180, we're not going to go 173, but it absolutely enjoys that 80 to 1. Oh, careful. Absolutely enjoys the 80 to 120 mile an hour range here. Third, fourth, fifth gear. Feel the power. Hear the power of America. Oh, a lot of understeer there. Oh, a lot of understeer there. Very enigmatic, depending on which corner you're on and where you want to apply the throttle with the C7 as to whether you're going to get understeer or oversteer. If the front gets a little bit light, just depending on the elevation and camber of the corner, you might be understeering. Under braking, you might be oversteering, hit the curb, who knows. But you've got a good power band. So, you can see here, I'm erring on the slow side. But you can get back on the power and it's going to be fun. It's got a real wide torque band. Little air time there. Little understeer. Beautiful evening. Late afternoon. Little light there. What I'm finding here and what I did just there is I turned it in kind of early, expecting the front to skate out a little bit, and it kind of rewarded me for it. So it's definitely, you're very actively working the brakes, throttle, and the steering in this vehicle. It's not on the rails. You've got to make rails where there are none. I had to make my own rails there. Big fat torque band, so I could have downshifted there, but I just let it go up through the power. We'll try to finish clean here. A couple of rough spots, but fun and some margin of error. Careful there. And we're through 737, 8, 9. I've seen faster laps on YouTube with this car, but there's my effort. Tried to keep it safe. Wasn't safe a couple times, but we made it through.